and today what we're going to be doing is showing you some pretty cool box shadow effects and how we can get some pretty interesting hover effects inside of Divi using that box shadow. So you can see here we're looking at Keygen Linear Media. I wanted to show you one of the examples of something that we're going to be able to put together today. So when you go into the Manage Hosting page here and scroll down, we've got the monthly, annual, and the questions, and when you hover over it, we get this pretty cool hover effect. It's simple and it's built in natively. No custom CSS needed, no extra work, everything built into the Visual Builder. So we're going to go in and actually create a new page on our demo site, and we're just going to play around with a few things today. So we're going to see how it comes out, and the end goal is to have you have a few different examples of some pretty cool hover effects and some things that can be done basically with the Divi Builder and zero custom code at all. So we're going to use a Divi Builder. Definitely want to do that and get into the front end. And then we're going to just start adding in a section. And we're going to build this one from scratch. So we're going to add in our row. And we're going to add in a text module here. That way we just have a little bit of something, a little bit of content, right? Hit OK. So now we've got what is very, very basic. Let's say we change this. We're going to do 3 columns here, and inside of each column, we're gonna update this text module, right? So we're going to do a background. And let's say we just want it to be this blue color. Text, we're going to keep it black. So now you've got the blue background, you've got the text, and we could copy this if we wanted, drop it in, and it's simple. And we'll go through the first one. Actually, let's do the second one. And we're going to do box shadow effects. So the first thing we're going to do is just pick one, and we want to make sure that it's an inner shadow. And let's say the blue is going to transfer over to, let's say it was going to go to black, or say the blue is going to be any other color. It doesn't matter. It can be red for this example. What we want to do is change the horizontal position. So let's say we just go 800. It doesn't matter really what it is, so that whenever we hover over it, it does change. Let's go back in there and make sure we did this correct. So the shadow color, we're going to have the default and the hover, right? So the default we had is this, and then the hover we had is red. Make sure this is all working correctly. Default hover, perfect. So we'll save our draft and we'll exit outside of the Visual Builder once this is saved so that you can see it kind of in real world, right? So now you hover over it, you've got this go from blue to red. Now we can change a few things inside of this in the way that it actually transitions. And obviously we can make it look a whole lot prettier than it does now pretty easily. So we could go under spacing and we can link them up to be the same, and left and right, let's say we want 2% margin, and the top we want 5% margin. And we can play with that. So spacing, if we want to do even more, say we want to make it 5% all the way around. So now you've got a little bit of space on the edges. We can go back in here under border. We can even add a little border radius. So now it's a little bit nicer than it was before. We can play around with the text. And let me shrink this down just a bit so you'll be able to see the changes as they happen. So under design, so we go to text, and we want it to be all uppercase. We want text to be centered, not justified. That's just awful. So let's do text, and let's say we wanted to actually add a little bit more space. So left and right, let's go to 10% here, and maybe 10% up top. So 10% all the way around. That looks pretty cool. Kind of liking the way this is going. Regular text again. Let's maybe make it a semi-bold. So this could be done for, you know, something you want to have as a call to action, right? So we've got this text setting, and let's see if we add a button here. The button's going to go below it. So this is a perfect example of how you can't really do the you can't really add a button into it if you have multiple columns, because unfortunately we don't have yet box shadow options for columns inside of rows. So we'd have to manually code that, and that's kind of beyond the scope of what we're trying to accomplish here. So we're going to cut out that actual button, and if you go back into the settings of the text, there's a cool thing that was added kind of on the slick, is that you can have a module link. So this whole thing can be clickable, you know, and we can make it whatever we want. And open in a new window. So now we've got this micro interaction of the hover whenever you go over it, but then we've also got it linked. So these can be kind of your own little calls to action that can be completely customized just for you and the way that you want to do it. So we'll exit back out of the Visual Builder, and you're going to see, you know, now we've got this link that's going to open in a new page. And I mistyped, but that's okay. You get the idea here. You can hover over it, you can change the text color, you can do kind of whatever you want to do on hover. And you can style it to fit your brand and the way that you've designed your website or your client's website. But the other thing we can do here is if you click on text, you can go down under advanced into transitions, and you can change how long it actually takes for this to happen. And you can make it ease in, ease out, a few different things. And so since we've got the regular stuff here, let's go in and add a heading, call to action. And we can go under our heading settings, go to H2, and we can change an ultra bold heading, underlined, and we could change a different font, right? So we've got a little bit of styling going on, and it looks good. You know, it looks very solid. This looks like something that would get my attention. And let's say we go back under box shadow, and let's say you did not want it to go left to right, but you wanted it to go right to left. So we start at 0, and then on the other setup we have it going 800. What we'd want to do is make it end on 0 and start on 800. So that should make it close in the other way. Boink. So you kind of get the idea here. And if we didn't want to have it go left to right, but we actually want it to go up to down, so we can take this back to 0 and start the way it was. And then we can change the hover here. So on hover, we can go to 800 pixels. And it's now going to close or go down from top to bottom. And you can change the blur so that now it doesn't have that outline effect. And we could even go into the regular text and change this color. So let's say on hover, we needed the text to be white. And then we can close in the text, go to heading, and do the same thing here. So heading to underline, we can make this whatever color we want. If we needed it to stand out, we could do that. I think in this case, I'm just going to have it match, and we're going to change the heading to color on hover to be white as well. So now what we have, if we save, and then we go and exit the Visual Builder and get back to the front end, you're going to see we've got this blue, and when we hover over it, it changes. And we can change that. That flicker is not normal. It's got to be something to do with the transitions, and we can fix that. So let's go back into Visual Builder. Let's edit this. And I want to actually change the heading to underline color. I just want it to be what it normally is. Actually, let's refer it to default. That way it doesn't do anything different. And this duration, let's go back to 200 and let's just make it ease in, ease out. Now let's save one more time and jump back into the front end, and we'll see exactly what we have and if it's doing what we want it to do. Boop. So see how quick that is? Cool little effect. It gives you a massive button to where you can link to wherever you want, and it's something that's not super well known inside of Divi. And we could tweak this, change the style, do the colors, do all the other styling options we want to do to this particular module. And the good thing is, once it's done, you have a very custom button that you can't create this kind of thing using the button module. It's just not possible. So this opens the world up to a lot of different possibilities, including putting those exact practices, taking them from the text module, and we can actually do it to an entire section. So let's roll through that real quick. We're going to do text here. That way we've just got a little something, a little placeholder text. Let's go under the settings, and we're going to do box shadow. We're going to copy those styles. So right click, copy box shadow styles, and we're going to come to this section. We're going to paste the box shadow styles here. So I believe we did that on the background. Or let's see. We did the regular background and then the box shadows. So we're going to have a background color here. And let's say just for the sake of this demo, we're going to use the same colors. So we've got this in place, and we go under our box shadows and the vertical position, and you can see here we've got the hover. So if we go into the text, we can change the colors so that the text actually shows up very well regardless of if it's one color or the other. We can highlight, go to the hover color, change that to white, and let's save and exit out of here, because you can do this as a very big call to action. So if you need an entire section to change, you can do that as well. So when we hover here, we've got the red, and when we hover here, we've got the whole section that changes to red. So there's a lot of the ways that you can utilize this to really step up your website. I would highly recommend looking up some good color management. I did these just 100% for demo purposes. This is not a color scheme that I would use. That red color is just obnoxious, but it illustrates the point we're trying to prove here. So I hope that this has been very beneficial for you. I think the box shadows are very underutilized, very powerful tool, not just for doing a drop shadow, but for doing some pretty cool things inside of the Visual Builder. So let us know in the comments below exactly, link us up to some examples of how you're going to use this. We would love to check it out. We'd love to to get in the conversation with you. So subscribe to the channel. Turn on the notifications if you want to get all of the latest and greatest, and check out kinglinearmedia.com for podcasts, tutorials, and everything that we have to offer. So have an awesome day, and we'll catch you in the next video.